Hi friends, this is Connie. Today we are going to talk about how to increase your hourly pay as a piano teacher without adding any more time to your schedule. This is what you make hourly. I am so excited to share this with you, so let's get started. Here is the secret. Now, you got to hear me out. You got to listen to how I explain this and how it works. I think by the end you'll really understand where you might turn it off at the very first when you first hear it. Especially you're going to want to stay to the end because I'm going to work out the math for you that will amaze you at how much you can increase your hourly wage. Okay, the idea is to separate out theory and everything else. You teach the method books, you teach technique, you have kids that are getting ready for performances or competitions, okay, in their actual playing on the piano, and then theory. And you teach theory as a class and everything else in a private lesson. So you do a combination of both, okay? This is where I said, hear me out. Don't go, oh no, I can't even imagine doing more than that. It's not adding to your schedule, believe me. Let me just explain, why in the world would you want to do this? What are the benefits of it? For the students, there's just an element of energy in a group setting, especially after they get to know each other more and they can joke with each other and they know each other's names and they see each other at the recital and they're familiar with each other. It also, there's just kind of more of a sense of community where they feel like, I'm not taking piano lessons all by myself. And I love one-on-one lessons too. I taught that way for half my career. But it gets a little bit lonely. And some students, I know, it's hard to believe because I'm just a fun person, but they might get kind of tired of hearing me every week. So, maybe. But there's an energy and there's this sense of community and there's these social connections that go on. Also, it adds a lot more variety of the kinds of activities and things that you can do as opposed to one-on-one. They can feel more like a team, and I use this a lot. Each of my classes are a team. In fact, right now we're working on a practice challenge where each team, each class is trying to earn 500 points. And if they earn those 500 points by a deadline, they're going to get a party. And I am so excited because my teen and adult class, we're going to do a murder mystery party. And I'm really excited about it. So I'm like pushing them. They got to earn it because I think it'll be really fun. But they're earning that as a team and not in competition because every team that earns it. But they're working together as a team. So that's fun. Those are a couple of the reasons that it's great for the students to have a group class. It also combines the benefit because you're teaching a private lesson and a group class. So you're not giving up the benefits of a private lesson and you're not giving up those benefits of a group to do it one way or the other. You're getting the best of both worlds. Your students are. For you, you're going to be able to make more money per hour. And I know it's not all about the money. No one needs to tell me that. It is in my soul to teach piano. It's just a part of who I am. I think about it when I'm not teaching. And you're a piano teacher. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You wouldn't do it if you didn't love it. And I love seeing the growth and I love being a part of these kids' lives as they grow up. I love all of it. But I also, this is my income. This is how I live. It's not a side hustle. This is my main income. And I need to be able to put food on my table. I need to put gas in my car. And so there's no shame at all in making a living, making a good living at what you do if you're good at what you do. This is how you can make more money per hour, not charge your students anymore, and not add any extra time to your schedule. So here's how you'd schedule a class. You're going to hold a theory class every week, not once a month. Every week there's a theory class. And every week a student has a private lesson. So every week they get both. So now we're talking about how to group students into classes. And when you very first start, you'll need to put some thought into this, as I did when I first started this method. Probably I've been doing this about 2.5 years. You got to think, okay, I already had all my students in theory books going through a curriculum. So I thought, okay, the ones that are in these 2 books, I'm going to put in a class. And then these I'm going to put in a class, and these I'll put in a class. And then I named my classes something different, just like Color Me Musical is for the young, for my littles, and like ages 3 up to age 8, and they're beginners at that age, obviously. And then bronze, and then silver. And I do have a gold track for the more advanced students, which is separate from this, so we'll talk about that later. I grouped all these kids, so let's figure I have 20 kids on this Color Me Musical level. I like to have about 5 up to 10 in a group. More than that, for me, my personality, the way I do it, I don't like more than 10. If you can do more than 10, more power to you. But my sweet spot is 5 to 10. And even sweeter, I like it between 6 and 8. That's perfect for me. There's 21 kids. I'll have 3 classes because that puts 7 in each class. Now, you know as well as I do, it doesn't work out perfect in the scheduling. So I offer these classes at different times, and I know that there will probably be 8 in one, 6 in another, 7. So I offer enough classes that it's going to work out so everybody can find a time that they can come to a class. I hope that makes sense on how I kind of divided up my classes and figured out how many classes I need. Then my shorter lessons, I'm going to compare this to the industry standard, which is 30 minutes for a private lesson. Most of us were taught that way. Most of us started teaching that way. I know some of you do different station things and it's a little longer, but just for the sake of comparison and simplicity, we're going to compare this to a 30-minute private lesson. In a 30-minute private lesson, you're trying to cover everything, right? We're trying to cover a little bit on technique. We do some theory teaching, maybe give them an off-bench activity. We try to do their method book. We're trying to work on the pieces they're getting ready for the recitals. Okay, so that is all that goes into a private lesson. Now we're going to take those theory parts out of that lesson and do that in theory class. You can condense down your private lesson time to a shorter amount of time because you're not having to do theory. So what I do is the theory classes are 45 minutes. The private lessons are now 15 minutes. I know some people freak out. There's no way I could cram everything into 15 minutes. I feel you. I understand. I thought that at first too. I'm going to be making a video at how I structure those, and I have plenty of time to cover everything I want to. Seriously. Just wait. A video's coming on that. So we've got 45-minute class and a 15-minute private. The students are now getting an hour of lesson time from you as opposed to a half hour of lesson time from you. They're getting more time, not less time. There's some ways that you can structure this. As far as we all felt that crunch, a lot of us, like me, we were teaching in-person lessons until the world shut down and everything went to online. And some people endured it and hated it and went back to in-person. And now it's just like some are online, some are in person, and it just is crazy. It keeps going back and forth. So I don't know where you are or what you prefer. I like both. Okay, there are advantages to both. You can do all in person. You can have the theory class at your studio. They come to the theory class, and then have the private lessons at your studio where they come for their private lesson. You can do a split, kind of a hybrid. You could do the private lessons at your studio and the theory class online. That would be perfect for a traveling teacher because they're traveling to the kid's house for their private lesson and then teach a theory class online. You can do it the reverse. You could do the theory class in person at your studio and then teach the private lessons online. Some teachers feel like it's a little easier if you don't have to teach any theory online. The fourth option is to do it completely online. You have your private lessons online and your theory classes online. It can be fashioned to any of those structures. Now, if you have received any value or any new ideas from this video, please click that like button right now. That helps it get to more people so we can help more people see it. And now for the magic in the numbers. I'm going to show you how we can earn more money per hour. I've got this whiteboard. Just switch to the whiteboard. And I'm going to have this little handy calculator just to show you the numbers. We're going to start out. All right, we'll start here with blue pen. We start here. Let's just say we're going to take 5 students. 5 students. Now, obviously, you're going to have more than 5. So this is just taking a slice of 5 students and looking at it. If you give them each a 30-minute private lesson, you would be teaching for 2.5 hours, right? Your teaching time is 2.5 hours at that. Let's say, just for the sake of simplicity, that you charge $100 a month. Break that down into 4 lessons a month. You're going to average $25 for each of those lessons. $25 per lesson. Those 5 students, each paying you $25, makes you $125. And you're teaching for 2.5 hours. So we're going to divide that 125 by 2.5. And that's where our little calculator will come in. Just so we don't make a mistake, 125 divided by 2.5 hours of teaching, you make $50 an hour. Okay, let's take the same 5 students, but now instead of teaching 30-minute private lessons, we're going to teach a 45-minute group plus a 15-minute private. All right, and they each are still paying $25 per lesson. So for that combined group and private, the price does not go up. They still pay the same amount. We are still making $125 for those lessons that we teach these 5 students right here. All right, now how long does it take us to teach those 5 students? In other words, what's this number going to be? How many hours are we teaching? Well, it's 45 minutes, and then 15 minutes for each of those 5 students. Well, 4 of those 15 minutes make 1 hour, and the extra 15 minutes added to this 45 makes 2 hours. So it's an even 2 hours that we're teaching. So 125 divided by 2 hours of teaching. Let's clear that. 125 divided by 2 is 62.50. Look at the difference. 62.50 per hour. Your teaching time has gone from 2.5 hours down to 2 hours, but the student's lesson time has gone from 30 minutes up to an hour. It's just amazing. It's this miracle math. So you've got an extra half hour now. What can you do during that extra half hour? You could do makeup lessons. You could do teacher prep time. I would suggest you do some marketing. If you don't have a waiting list, let's fill up that extra half hour with students so that now you can increase your income even more. So let's say that you really got on it and you got 3 more students. So now you have 8 students. That is a perfect number for me. I said before for the group class. 45-minute group plus each of them get a 15-minute private. So you didn't raise your prices. They're still each paying $25 per lesson, per week really, because it's a theory class and a private lesson they're getting now, more for their money. 8 students paying $25 each. Now you're making $200 for those lessons that you teach that week. And let's think now, how much do you teach? Okay, we have the 45-minute group and 8 students at 15 minutes each. That 8 students is going to take 2 hours. And the 45-minute group is 45 minutes. So that is, change that to a fraction. This was the hard part. 2 3/4 of an hour is 2.75. Clear this out. We'll go $200 divided by 2.75 hours that we're teaching, $72 per hour. Wow! So look, we went from $50 an hour, 50 right here. And then just by changing your schedule, you don't raise your prices, you don't add in any more students, you went up to $62.50 an hour. Now, if you fill up that extra time that you saved, and you can get 8 students now, you're going to be up to $72 per hour teaching. We went from 50 to 72. If you ask me, that's kind of a no-brainer. because I'm not taking anything away from my students. They are getting more. I'm saving time, and I'm getting all those benefits of private and group combined together. All right, I hope that you get my thinking in all this. I hope that makes sense to you and you got something out of this video, and like a perfect cadence, this is the end.